This is 3 News Daily.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Daily on your Thursday, October 19th. Thanks for being here with me in Northeast Ohio. I'm Stephanie Haney, and we are starting today with the chaos in Congress again concerning Ohio Representative Jim Jordan, who has lost twice now while running for Speaker of the House. This afternoon, Jordan told his Republican colleagues that he will support a temporary House Speaker for now, while he tries to get enough votes together to eventually become Speaker himself. What he's talking about is interim Speaker Representative Patrick McHenry being granted more power so the House could reopen and conduct business. Right now, McHenry has only been able to oversee the election of a new Speaker following the removal of Kevin McCarthy from the Speaker chair more than 2 weeks ago. The House is expected to reconvene sometime today, so we will keep you posted as those updates come in. Now, as the Israel-Hamas war rages on, internationally renowned Middle East expert and Shaker Heights native Aaron David Miller shared his take on what's happening. This was during a virtual program hosted by the Maltz Museum. Last night, he joined Case Western Reserve University professor Avedon Cover to explain why he thinks Hamas attacked Israel in the first place.
If you ask me for a motive of the Hamas attack, certainly not to defeat Israel. It's to radicalize and to create as much distraction and tension in the Arab world, creating a sense that the Israelis are responsible for thousands of Palestinian deaths, which is a very useful tool in their propaganda kit.
Now, that's just a small portion of what was talked about in the hour-long seminar. They also talked about Hamas as a terror organization and how complex it is to try and eradicate the group, even with Israel's military forces. You can see more from that conversation on WKYC.com. Now to Akron, where police are investigating 2 separate shootings that happened just a few miles apart. Police say a 27-year-old man was shot in the leg near the Shop and Go Mini Mart on Diagonal Road at around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon. He was taken to the hospital for his injuries, and police say a 23-year-old man was taken into custody shortly after that incident. Meanwhile, police say a 42-year-old man was shot in the parking lot at the Rubber City Lounge on North Main Street just after midnight, so technically this morning. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. We don't have an update on how he's doing right now, and police are still trying to track down a suspect in that case. In Cleveland, police are investigating a crash that sent 2 people to the hospital overnight near Kinsman and East 116th Street. Police tell us it appears one vehicle ran a red light and then got T-boned. One car ended up on its side, but thankfully we are told that the injuries are not serious. Now to an update on the investigation into the toxic train derailment in East Palestine. Now, the Environmental Protection Agency has ordered Norfolk Southern to conduct further testing and do more cleanup. The EPA wants the railroad to concentrate its cleanup efforts on the oily sheens and sediments in the Sulphur Run and Leslie Run water areas, now nearly 9 months after that derailment. All right, now let's check in on the status of Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. We can tell you now, Watson did practice today for the first time in nearly 3 weeks after missing 2 games with an injured right shoulder. Browns offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt said Watson was scheduled to get out there and make some throws and that it would be good to get him out there with the guys. Just yesterday, Watson told the media things were still up in the air while he's recovering from his rotator cuff injury. The Browns take on the Colts on Sunday at 1 p.m. in Indianapolis. Meanwhile, in Menor, there's a new law on the books about feeding wildlife. Now it's illegal to feed geese in Menor. Officials say they need this law because geese can become aggressive with humans during nesting season. So if you're caught feeding geese, you could face a $250 fine or up to 30 days in jail. That's if the geese don't get you first. All right, now as Amazon prepares for another busy holiday shopping season, the company is making changes at one of its fulfillment centers here in Northeast Ohio. Just yesterday, the Euclid Center became the company's first in the country to stop using plastic delivery packaging. Amazon says it's part of their plan to convert their centers to using paper instead, which they hope will encourage customers to recycle more often. And Tower City Center is also gearing up for holiday shopping with new stores, dining options, and family-friendly attractions, like a brand new red spiral story slide. This is just like the one featured in the movie A Christmas Story. Tower City says the new slide will run from the 2nd level to the 1st level of the mall's main concourse, and it will be free to the public. They plan to open it up on November 25th. They're also adding a new holiday cocktail bar and a new toy store, something for everybody. Now in Shaker Heights, the police department is getting creative to try to build trust with the community. The department has come out with a new children's book called People Protect Shaker Heights. It highlights the lives of the officers and what they do off-duty. Officers are carrying copies with them to give away to kids while they're patrolling streets and neighborhoods. Chief Wayne Hudson talked to us about it.
The inspiration behind the book is kind of simple, is connections with our community. So one of the ways that we want to connect with the community is let them know that law enforcement officers are people just like anyone else.
Now, Hudson was sworn in at the beginning of this year and says he's made it his goal for the department to live by its slogan, in partnership with our community. Now, speaking of Shaker Heights, tomorrow morning, the city's high school football team and band will be in the national spotlight. They're getting featured on the Today Show during the 7 o'clock hour. The school was selected for this week's Friday Morning Lights segment, and our own Dave Chudowski will be live from Shaker Heights High School starting on 3 News Go, so turn on your TVs early tomorrow to make sure you don't miss it. Now, even though we want you to get up early tomorrow to see Shaker on the national news, you might want to stay out a little later because tonight's going to be a real thriller in Wadsworth, quite literally. Hundreds of zombies, if you will be taking over the streets downtown to recreate scenes from Michael Jackson's iconic Thriller music video. This is part of the city's 10th annual Scare the Square event. Now, last year, the dance went wild on social media, getting more than 2 million views on Facebook. So if you want to see this year's show in person, the party kicks off at 5 p.m. tonight. You know, I'm seeing a lot of these zombie reenactments. I saw another one online where they were a bunch of moms and they called them mombies, which I love because, you know, I love a good bad pun. So that'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully you can make it out there tonight. Now listen, a couple notes for you. We will not have an extended show tomorrow or Monday. So have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Tuesday with more of your top stories from Northeast Ohio. Have a good one, everybody.